If you're doing the Ann Arbor District Library, the community needs you have are students do not read over the summer and come back to school in September with lower reading abilities than they had in June. The Ann Arbor District Library formed, and the positive impact is that the AADL facilitates the summer game that encourages students to continue reading over the summer. We're going to read an article that will give you supporting facts, details, quotations, and definitions for both of these boxes that you will need to write your brochure. Now, most of you have already read the first article, so we're going to skip that. And we're going to go directly to the page that says what is and how to prevent summer slide. Remember, I'm looking for supporting facts, supporting details, quotations, and definitions that students do not read over the summer and come back to school in September with lower reading abilities than they had in June. What is summer slide? You may have heard the term summer slide from teachers or other parents, but what does it mean? Summer slide is what happens when the skills students learn during the school year are lost or forgotten over the summer. When kids don't practice their reading skills during the summer months, they can fall behind by the time school starts again. When students don't read over the summer, they lose up to 2 months of reading ability. By the time they are in 5th grade, this adds up to being 2 years behind in school. Remember, I'm looking for information that students do not read over the summer and come back to school in September with lower reading abilities than they had in June. The first thing that I'm going to write is summer slide. So for my notes, I might write something like summer slide equals when students forget what they learned over the summer. Notice that I'm putting it in my own words. Go ahead and try it on your own. Summer slide equals, what is summer slide? I'm looking for other facts as well. I noticed this, when students don't read over the summer, they lose up to 2 months of reading ability. That's a lot. So now I'm going to put that in my own words. Not reading over the summer equals loss of 2 years reading ability. Notice that I'm putting the facts in my own words. By the time they are in 5th grade, this adds up to being 2 years behind in school. I'm going to write that fact as well. 5th grade equals 2 years behind in school, which makes sense if you're adding up two months of reading ability over several years, 5 years. It adds up to 2 years. Summer slide, what it is and how to prevent it. How does it affect kids? When kids don't read over the summer months, their reading abilities start to decline. This tendency to lose some of the skills over the summer is called summer slide. We already wrote that in our notes. Studies have shown that kids can lose 2 to 3 months in summer skills over the summer months, and summer learning losses are cumulative. That means they add up every summer. Kids who don't have solid reading skills by 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school before graduating. We haven't written that. I'm not sure I can put that in my own words, so I'm going to write that in quotations. You should be writing this with me. Quote, kids who don't have solid reading skills by 5th grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. That's a quote that I might use. Summer learning loss accounts for 2/3 of the reading achievement gap between lower income students and their middle and upper income peers. That's another fact you could write if you want. The summer game. The Ann Arbor District Library is rethinking summer slide. This tells me that now I'm going to hear some information about positive impacts. So how the AADL makes the summer game that encourages students to read over the summer that helps to stop these things. Then and now, kids who don't read over the summer can lose as much as 2 months of learning, putting them at serious disadvantage when school begins. As a result, libraries around the country create summer reading programs to provide incentives for kids to keep reading. Normally, library summer reading programs reward children for reading a certain number of books while school is out. The AADL, Ann Arbor District Library, has done this for many years and still does. Children's, teens, and adults can read 10 books in exchange for a prize. But the AADL is going above and beyond, asking kids to read 10 books over the summer. Since 2011, its online summer games add library-related online prizes, scavenger hunts, and more. Deputy Director Eli Newberg says the AADL developed the game because librarians didn't want to limit people to just reading 10 books to read a prize. Kids, he says, would normally read a lot more than 10 books in the summer, and the library was giving them the message that 10 books was all you had to read. You need to ask yourself, how is the Ann Arbor District Library helping to prevent summer slide? Well, it's a summer reading program that provides incentives. I'm also noticing that normally they ask kids to read 10 books when school is out. So here I might write something like, most library programs have kids read 10 books over the summer. AADL has the summer game. Kids read more than 10 books. This might be a quote that you would want to include in your brochure. If it is, you could write that down here, that the director of the Ann Arbor District Library said that. If not, don't worry about it. 2. How to play the summer game. Summer game players try to earn badges, most of which are tied to the library's online catalog. Clues point to specific items in the catalog, each of which has a unique code hidden in its record. Each code is worth a certain number of points. These points are redeemable online in AADL's summer game shop for prizes. Codes are also hidden in each AADL location, at library events, and in the parks and businesses around town. Players also receive points for every book, CD, or DVD they finish this summer, beyond the 10 required to complete the classic summer reading program. You make the library a game board, as opposed to attempting to gamify reading, Neil Bird explains. We've added a system of fun to hopefully have people have fun exploring all of the library's offerings and using services that everyone in town has already paid for. In your own words, how would you describe the summer game? I might say, can earn badges by going to the library. Use badges to win points. I might also write this. Players receive points for every book, CD, or DVD they finish beyond the 10 required to complete the classic summer reading program. In my own word, I could say you can get more points for reading more than 10 books. Notice I'm putting that in my own words. Number 3, what the community thinks. AADL player Ninka Appel says that a series of badges last year sparked her 9-year-old son's interest in graphic novels. Quote, as he was doing the badges, he was placing a lot of holds on book and having me go down there and get the books, Appel says. However, Appel admits she's the most dedicated summer game player in her household. The same goes for player Cheryl Osrose, a self-described longtime board gamer. Her 2 children, 12 and 15, also play, but not quite as much as I do, Oz laughs. Last year, a code was hidden in the office of AADL Director Josie Parker, and 600 people came to find it. Everyone from 4 or 5 years old to seniors who played the game are visiting my office, Parker says. If you judge how many people are going to the director's office for a couple thousand points, it's still pretty high all throughout the system. This is a great quote you could choose right here. That someone said that their son was putting books on hold at the library to go pick up because he was so excited to win more points. You could write that here in your own words. Or you could write the direct quote. Here you could write 600 people went to the Ann Arbor District Library to find one code. That tells me that they're pretty invested in reading. Number 4, the effects of the summer game. I bet we're going to get some great statistics. Last year, 3,700 players signed up and claimed 6,200 prizes online. By comparison, 11,000 paper reading records were distributed, and 3,600 book prizes were given to children and teens who completed in the traditional program. It's a pretty big difference. Donated by the Friends of the AADL and Scott and Marcy Westerman Fund, the prizes included AADL logo t-shirts, ball caps, tote bags, flying discs, and coffee mugs. The most coveted items include the bags of Ruse Roast coffee, and chocolate bars custom imprinted with summer game artwork. I see a statistic here that I definitely want to include. 3,700 people were interested in playing the summer game. Those are people who are reading over the summer. So I might write that here. 3,700 people in Ann Arbor were playing the summer game to earn points. Players have often participated from across the country and overseas, and Nilberg says other libraries often ask for information to help build their own games. While an online game may seem like a boring idea of a summer reading program, Oroz says it succeeds in getting people active. There are events that I've gotten my kids to go to for the last 2 summers because I'm like, there's a code, she says. It's that extra little push. And sometimes that's the fingertip push you need to get them away from Netflix and off the door. That could be a direct quote you can include as well. By now you should have a few facts, details, definitions for both sides.